Hey everybody, Big V here. It's Verl Workman and we are talking teams. One of the biggest things that people ask us all the time is how do you generate more leads for my real estate team? Or they might say something like, I don't have enough leads to hire a teammate. Or, what do I have to do to get more leads to my people? Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is this. If you're hiring people and telling them you're giving them leads, you're going to hire the wrong people. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like raising entitled children. If you raise your children to never think they have to work for anything, when it comes time for them to go to work, they won't know what to do. If you hire team members telling them you're going to give them all their leads, oh my gosh, when it comes time to prospect, they're gonna be like, well, I don't have any leads, so how am I gonna work? So I don't think that lead generation is the problem with most teams. What the real problem is we don't know how to convert more of the opportunities we get. So in this video, I would like to give you the A, B's, and C's of lead conversion. In selling my last business to homes.com, we learned not only how to sell agent websites, but also how to convert more of those opportunities. When high volume lead generation companies engage us to help them with lead conversion, it's because we figured out systems and processes to be able to get people to engage. And it's different than what you might be thinking. Most people try and convince people they should buy or sell houses. And I've got to tell you that I can't think of any scenario where the agent is the reason somebody moves. And so if you stop trying to talk people into buying or selling and start listening more to what it is they're actually going through in their life and provide good services based on where they are, you're going to find that lead conversion is much easier. Nobody buys or sells houses because their realtor needs another commission check. People buy or sell houses because of life events that occur. They're gonna upsize, they're gonna downsize, their kids move in, their kids move out, they get relocated, they want to go into retirement. There's so many reasons people move, and none of them have anything to do with the realtor. And if you'll understand that all you are is a tool in the process, it allows you to create better systems to follow up and provide great services to the client. The moment you realize it's not about you is when you can create a scalable and sellable business. So let's talk about what types of leads there are. I'm going to break leads down into 3 categories: an A lead, a B lead, and a C lead. A's and B's and C's of lead management. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you a free download where we break down what the A's and B's and C's of lead management is and give you the exact how-tos to convert at a higher level. How many of you believe you would make more money or earn more income, not if you got more leads, but what if you just converted more of the opportunities that came your way? Sounds simple? It's simple, but it isn't easy because it requires systemization and consistency in the way that we follow up. Here's how most people follow up with leads. Most people believe that they have the good intention of following up. So somebody calls, they say, I'm looking at a house. You say, you want to go see it. They go, how much is it? You give them the price. They say, not right now. You say when. They say soon. You say, okay, I'll follow up. Well, we have the good intention of following up, but we don't actually do it. So how do you follow up in a way that systematically converts them? Well, here's how we do it. I'm going to first draw my A's, my B's, and my C's. Are you ready? An A lead. What is an A lead? A stands for appointment. An A lead is somebody you have an appointment with. Somebody calls up, says, I'd like to see a house. You say, you want to go in the morning or the afternoon? They say afternoon. You say 1 o'clock or 3. They say 3 o'clock. You go, great, I'll see you at 3. That is an appointment. When you meet them at the house and you say, do you like the house? They say, no, I don't like the house. You say, would you like to look at some others? They say, yes. You say, well, I'll call you next week. We'll set up a time. That is not an appointment. That is an intention to set up an appointment. So what I want you to teach your team members to do is whenever they meet with someone, you always schedule the next appointment. It sets the mindset of the consumer up that we're going to continue to move forward in the process rather than wish marketing, hoping we can find something. When you set the appointment for Tuesday of next week, your job as the buyer's agent to find them a home. Whether it's on the market or off the market, you need to find at least 2 houses to look at Tuesday during that dedicated appointment. So your job is to, every time you meet with a client or have a conversation with them, is to schedule the next what? Appointment. So an A lead is somebody you have an appointment with. You don't need to put them on a follow-up campaign. They don't need to be on a drip system because you are the drip system. You have a scheduled appointment. That's when you're going to get with them next. Let's talk about a B lead. A B lead is someone who's 30 to 60 days out and they're not ready to make a decision right now, but they're moving forward in the process. We're going to call them twice a month during the weeks that the 1st falls in and the 15th falls in. So a B lead we call twice a month during the weeks that the 1st falls in and the 15th falls in. And what do you say to a B lead? When I call a B lead, I simply say, hi, this is Verl. I'm calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. Are you getting the properties that I've been sending you? Is there anything you want me to change in the search? And are you ready to pop in and take a look at any of those houses? You use simple dialogue to keep them moving forward in the process. I call it non-barrier selling. When you pick up the phone and you say, hey, this is Verl, I'm just calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball, they immediately lower their barrier because you made it about you wanting to make sure you're not dropping the ball. As opposed to calling and saying, you want to buy a house? Do you need to buy a house? I'm really hungry. I don't have any money. Can we go buy a house? Please let me show you some houses. They can feel it when you have urgency. And so you need to be easygoing and you need to think about how do I serve them regardless of whether or not I make money. I call it my serve regardless of opportunity concept. We serve, and by serving, you'll sell. If you take the sales process away and you just focus on doing the right thing for the client, the money always takes care of itself. So a B lead, we're gonna call 2 times a month during the weeks that the 1st call falls in and the 15th falls in. Are you ready for a C lead? This is a fun one. C leads are 90 days plus. We're gonna call them during the week of the 8th. So the week of the month that the 8th falls in is when we call our C leads. We know they're more than 90 days out, so it could be a year out or 2 years or whatever. We're just gonna call them once a month. What do you think I'm gonna have you say to a C lead? Same thing as you say to a B lead. Hey, this is Verl, I'm calling to make sure I'm not dropping the ball. I promise you, no one's gonna say, well, wait. Isn't that what you're saying to your B leads? No one says that. They go, oh no, you're not dropping the ball. I'm still 2 years away. You say, I know, I just wanna make sure that I stay in touch. How's your kids? How's the family? How's the dog? Are you still going to the Utah games? Are you still going to the USC games? Whoever your team is, you find something you have in common and you focus on the relationship, not on selling a home. You know, people will follow up until they think there's no longer an opportunity. I believe there's an opportunity with everyone. And we follow up with people until they buy or tell you to die. I want you to follow up with people once a month until they file a restraining order. I want you to stay at the front of their mind so when someone thinks about buying or selling real estate, whether it's them or not, they always think of you first. What are the activities that you're doing right now to make sure that you never drop the ball with a client? You have to systematize the A's, the B's, and the C's of lead follow-up. An A lead, let's review. We have an appointment with. A B lead, we're gonna call twice a month during the weeks of the 1st and the 15th. C leads, we're gonna call once a month during the week of the 8th. Well, wait a second. That leaves the week of the 22nd. So what are we gonna do during the week of the 22nd? That's when we're gonna call through our sphere of influence and work our top 50. If you want to have a link back to the video where we talk about top video, put it right here. Click on this link. You can go back and learn what we talked about, how to close 86 transactions a year, working with 50 people 1 hour a day. That concept is even more effective when you put it into week 20 to the week of the 22nd. So now we work our sphere of influence. We have a system for the A, B's, and C's, and I promise you, you don't have to buy more leads if you learn how to convert the ones that you already have the opportunity to serve. Serving regardless of opportunity is a core fundamental in building a high-performing team, and you're well on your way.